beautiful friends, and welcome back to my channel. This is Nova Gnome Creations, and I'm Nova, and I'm so happy to see you today. I hope you and your loved ones are taking care the best that you can, and that you are all having a great day. I am here today to do part 1 of my May Q&A. So I don't know how many parts there will be. I don't even know if there'll be more than this part. But right now I'm at 18 questions, so I figured that's probably enough to make a part 1. If you would like to ask a question, just head over to my page where I have the May Q&A video, and I'm like this, or like doing like some weird thing like this, and it says like May Q&A, and that's the thumbnail for the video. So if you go to that video, you can comment on it with a question. You can also comment on it in this comment section. I'm writing them down as I see them, so it's really not a big deal that you comment on that video, but if you would like to comment on that video, that's the video that I originally posted, saying, hey, I've never done a Q&A, let's do one. So I am just gonna hop right into it and start with the first question. The first question is, what is your fave crochet hook? Okay, so this is a question that I'm always like I feel a little awkward answering, because I don't have experience with like very many types of crochet hooks. So, the crochet hooks that I have are basically like no branded crochet hooks and boy crochet hooks. And you guys can tell me what you think these no branded crochet hooks are. Replicating, what kind of crochet hook you think they are. I know the tips are where the magic is at. I said that and then I was like, oh, okay. But so I know that that's what makes them different from each other, is like the way the tips are shaped. So you guys will have to let me know what you think the no named brand ones are. But I love my boy hooks, and I don't have experience with other hooks. I haven't tried tulips or clovers or any of that stuff. And I haven't tried furls or anything. I'm interested in trying different types of crochet hooks. I just have not yet. So, although I do have some like off-brand versions of some crochet hooks coming that are like copycats. So that'll be interesting to try. So yeah, anyway, so my favorite crochet hook, I'm just going to say, is boy, because I don't know. I don't have experience with other crochet hooks, but I do love my boy crochet hooks. I like to use the like silicone handled ones, the ergonomic ones. I have some not ergonomic ones, which are the ones that came with my Learn to Crochet kit that I actually did start crocheting with originally. But I was very happy to get these silicone handled ones, because they are so much nicer for holding, for gripping, and you know, I would rather crochet with something a little bit thicker at the base. As far as like size of crochet hook goes, it really just depends on what project I'm working on. I really like my 5mm crochet hook. I use that like kind of like a go-to size. Like if I don't know what size hook to use for something, I'm probably just going to use my 5mm. If I'm doing amigurumi, I usually use a 3.5mm. And if I'm working with like blanket yarn and stuff, oh, I kind of lied a little bit, guys. I forgot I do have some Hobby Lobby crochet hooks. Okay, so here's the thing though about these Hobby Lobby crochet hooks. Grab a couple of them. So I loved this one, okay? This is my 10mm crochet hook. I absolutely love this crochet hook. It was my first like big like not boy crochet hook. I bought this one just alone at Hobby Lobby, and I got it to work with blanket yarn when I was making blanket yarn plushies, which was technically, this was not the size of hook I should have been using for amigurumi blanket with blanket yarn. I use a smaller hook now, but you can make them with this size hook. You can definitely make them with this size hook. And my polyfill didn't show through or anything like that. My stitches just weren't as tight, and now I tend to crochet my amigurumi with tighter stitches. So anyways, I love this hook. I still love this hook, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I will use this hook even if I should use a smaller one, because I like this specific hook. Now here's where the issue comes in. I thought I loved that hook a lot, so I went and I bought a bunch of hooks in other sizes. This is a 5mm, I believe. Yeah, 5mm. So I was so excited. These are the same ones, they just have a lighter colored handle, or darker colored handle. The issue is, I found I really liked this one because this is still really thick. when it comes to these ones, they have a very short handle and a very long, like shaft area. And I am accustomed to my boy hooks that have a longer handle, and I prefer this. I can crochet with these ones and they're okay, but I really prefer having a longer handle on my crochet hooks. And my little clay ones that I use, my mermaid ones, they're also the same way. They have a longer handle on them. So I don't use these ones, and that was like a really big disappointment to realize the hand feel is so different, because with this one, even though I'm crocheting like holding onto the shaft of it, it's a thicker crochet hook. It's a very thick crochet hook. So it just felt normal thickness as compared to my boys. And then this one, when you crochet with it, it's like, it feels very skinny to crochet with. The only part of my hand that touches this is basically these two fingers that rest on it. That's not where I hold my hook. I hold my hook up higher, and I prefer something a little bit girthier. There's a lot of innuendos in this video, I feel like. So that, or just in the conversation of what's your favorite crochet hook, there's a lot of innuendos. So that is my not great answer, my kind of crappy answer. Question number 2, what got you into gnomes? So I actually have a video, and a couple of these questions, I do have videos that I've made about the questions. And for those, I'm going to link the videos in the description box, and I'll put what they are. So I'll put what got you into gnomes, and then I'll put the link to the video. But I will like shortly answer it. It's just that I have like videos where I went like a lot more in depth into these questions. So for the people that were interested in those and wanted like a more in-depth answer, so that this video is not like hours long, then I can just like refer you over to the videos where I've already talked about it before. But basically, I realized that I got into gnomes in 2010. And this is like super specific, and it's not like something that like, it wasn't like a light switch just flipped or something when I got my first gnome, but I realized now looking back that that's where the gnome love first started. And it was when I went abroad. I got to do youth exchange. I was very lucky to get to do youth exchange through the Rotary Club, and they pay for it. You only have to pay for like the flights. They like figure out everything else for you. And when I went there, my mom gave me this gnome that was like, she called it my travel gnome, and it was a play off of, at the time, the, Never Roam Alone commercials. So she did like the Never Gnome Alone, and it was just like a Dollar Tree gnome, and I still have it. It's up on my shelf. But if you're interested in like seeing more about that whole thing and just the evolution of my love of gnomes, I will link that video down in the description. But that's kind of where it all started. So about like 13 years ago. But also I just love like fairy tale type of stuff. I love magical stuff. I love magical creatures and stuff like that. So it's not just gnomes. I actually also love fairies and like pretty much anything that relates to that type of stuff. So I also just like supernatural stuff in general. So that's just kind of my niche. So that has been my niche, literally. I don't remember a time that was not like my like special interests. So yeah, so it started really young, but specifically gravitating towards gnomes probably started around then. Number 3, what books have you been reading recently? So, I just finished book 4 in the Lunar Chronicles, which is the like final book in the main series. Super, super good books. I don't want to spoil anything in case any of you guys want to read them. But basically the books are all based off of, very, very loosely based off of fairy tale themes. So the first book is called Cinder, and it's very loosely based off of Cinderella. They all have like a theme to them. And, the characters all have kind of a theme to them. But the thing is, it's very loosely inspired by it's I don't want to say that it's like those books at all. Like, it's not like those fairy tales at all, but they do have like a loosely inspired by theme to go with them. But this is the one I just started today. It's called Stars Above, and this is a oh gosh, what's it called? Oh, it's like novellas. It says that it is a Lunar Chronicles collection. So it's got, if you can see these like darker colored sections, those are like the different books. So it's got some basically like little novellas in here. And here are the books in this series. So you can kind of get an idea. So like Cinder is kind of based off of Cinderella. We've got, these are all characters, by the way. Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, Winter, they're all characters. But yeah, you should totally check these books out if you are into like fiction. I don't want to give any spoilers, but you can probably figure this out from the fact that it's called the Lunar Chronicles anyways, but you do, they do end up going to Luna at one point in the series, just to give you kind of an idea of what you're looking at. And Cinder is a cyborg. You figure that out like right away in the book, so that's not a spoiler. So there's kind of like cyborg stuff and fantasy stuff, and there's like, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, so just look up the series if you are interested in it. And this would probably be considered a young adult book, like the YA section at the bookstore, so that might also help you get an idea if it's a book that you'd be interested, or series that you'd be interested in. They also have really cool art. I love the way that they do these books. But yeah, I just started this one and I'm really excited for it. I just finished book 4 last night. Whoops. And that's part of what I was talking about like wanting to take it a little bit easier this month, as like per your guys's, all of you suggesting like, hey, you know, you don't got to go like crazy and have themes and do tutorials like all the time. You can like take it easy a little bit. And I was like, getting back to the basics actually sounds like a very good idea. I basically, I realized I kind of started going ham at Halloween when I was doing my like 14 days of Halloween or Yarnoween, and then for Christmas I did the whole month, and then I just like never really shut off the like overdrive. After Christmas I started doing themes and tutorials and like really pushing myself, which is good. Pushing yourself is a good thing, you know, you want to grow, and you know, like it's good to push yourself, but it's also good to sometimes realize that you need to like take a step back and, you know, get back to the basics a little bit. So that's kind of my goal this month, is to do that. And like, that's why I'm doing like Q&A and like more chit chatty type of videos, you know, more like what my videos were before I started going into overdrive and posting a lot of like tutorials and doing themes and stuff. Not that I won't still do those, but I like want to find like a little bit of more of a happy balance. And part of that happy balance is giving myself time to do things like reading, because I was not giving myself time to do anything other than this. So finding a little bit more of a balance between my interests, because I have a lot of interests, unfortunately, but also fortunately. I love a lot of things. So okay, so that was number 3. Number 4 is, would you consider crocheting the Tales of Beedle the Bard characters? So if you don't know, if you haven't looked at my craft with me videos where I'm reading, I've been reading the little short stories out of the Tales of Beedle the Bard, and we only have one more short story left. So if you're interested in those, I will link that in the description box. I have like a little playlist for my craft with me, and basically what it is I either crochet or I craft, or I work on like diamond paintings. I think so far I've only worked on diamond paintings or crocheting. And like that's what you see, and then audio is me reading. So visually you get to craft with me, and audio wise you get to listen to me read you a little short story. And yeah, I would totally be open to crocheting some of the Tales of the Beedle of, I don't know why every time I go to say that name I like jumble it up. I would totally be down for crocheting some of the Tales of Beedle the Bard characters. I actually had not thought about it, so that'll be something that I think about. Number 5, where do I get my glasses? So this is actually a common enough question that I actually have a video about it. And it was an unboxing video where I finally got myself some more glasses, because I was just having one pair, of the blue ones, and I just loved them so much that I wanted to kind of try to like start getting them in every color. I actually do not have them in every color, but that's a goal to eventually have them in every color. And I will link that video down in the description box below, and that has the website and everything I give you all the info about it in that video. But the website is called Zelul. I'm not really sure how you say it, but like I said, I'll put that in the description box, and I tell you what the website is and everything in that video, and you also get to see me unboxing my glasses, and so you can see a little bit more of what they have and stuff like that. I absolutely love these glasses. I've been wearing these glasses for, I want to say like 3 years now. Not these specific ones. I have several pairs, but the specific shape and design. I love the sparkly. I love the fact that they like ombre into different shades. I love the shape. I just think they're very, very fun. And now I feel like they're very like me. I feel like they're kind of like my trademark, my signature face. So I feel like they're like a part of my face now. But yeah, I get that question a lot, and I'm so glad you guys like my glasses. That makes me happy. Number 6, did you do forensics in high school? I did not have forensics as an option in high school. That would have been really fun. I would have definitely done that. We didn't really have very many cool options of classes to take in high school. The coolest options that we had, I did take, which was Shakespeare and mythology. Mythology especially was so fun. I loved that class, but we didn't have anything really that cool. Most of our classes were very specific because the state required, and I think this is kind of the same for everybody. The state require, like in different states, I mean, the state requires very specific things. Like you have to take these specific math classes and science classes and history classes, and you have to take one all 4 years for most classes now. Like it doesn't matter if you like test out of them. You can't. I did test out of some classes, but just because I wanted to, like challenge myself to do that. But you can't, like in the past you could test out of those and it would free up a spot for you so that you could take more like extracurricular type of classes. But they made it so that you had to take one all 4 years. So it made there be like no room for extracurriculars, unfortunately. I actually never took an art class during high school at all. Which is crazy because I love to do art. I would have loved to have taken art classes, but I didn't have room in my schedule. But like I said, I did go on youth exchange for part of the time I would have been in high school here. And then I also, the first year of high school, I was still in band. I was in band for 3 years in middle school and then 1 year in high school. And that made it so you like could not do anything because it took up your extracurricular slot. But yeah, so what was the question again? Oh yeah, I did not do forensics in high school, but that would have been really cool. Number 7, what Hogwarts house were you and hubby sorted into? I am a Ravenclaw and hubby is a Gryffindor. I've actually taken the like placement tests on a lot of different websites, and I always get Ravenclaw, and on like Pottermore and the website that they have now. I can't remember the name of it, but I was talking about it when the new Harry Potter game came out. I got Ravenclaw. I did take this test one time that was like, what would you be if it was like 2 fusions? Like it gave you like percentages of each house. Like what percentage are you Ravenclaw? What percentage are you Hufflepuff? You know, for each one. And I got Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff for that one. So I know some people have said that they think I'm a Hufflepuff. Apparently, secondarily, my personality lines up with Hufflepuff, but primarily Ravenclaw, and I absolutely love being a Ravenclaw. So Ravenclaw pride. And hubby is Gryffindor. Number 8, someone said that their kids are into anime. Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, and their son wants Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. Where should they start? Is there like a base doll? Honestly, I would just start with Googling patterns for that character, which I actually did mean to do a little bit of research before I popped on here, and I forgot. Tanjiro crochet pattern. So the first thing I would do is Google the name of it with crochet pattern, and it actually popped up free in there, so free is also in there for my Google. It looks like there's a crochet YouTube tutorial for like a little chibi version, which is like little like cutesy version. So yeah, there's a YouTube tutorial for one. There's one on Ravelry that is a free download. Oh, that's cool. They did like a whole free download too. It's not even like a website, where like a lot of times they'll be like, it's free and you got to go to their website, which is totally fine. And it makes sense because you're, supporting them for their hard work. But this one, they actually provided like a PDF download that's free. So it looks like there's a lot of options for that one. That would just be my, this thing that popped up is like, what's the world's most difficult crochet pattern? Typically the jasmine stitch is considered the hardest stitch. I've never done the jasmine stitch. Maybe I need to look that up. Okay, anyways. That would be my recommendation for any type of like anime crocheting, would just be to start Googling. And then if you can't find what you're looking for, I would definitely recommend looking for like a base pattern, like you said. Just look for like a good doll pattern. For as far as some free doll patterns go, let me pull up my crochet pattern album. Let's see. I haven't made very many just like straight up dolls. So the patterns that I have that are free are Weebee, which is spelled Weebee, and then she has like several different ones that they're free. There's like a standard size, a medium size, a little one. And those are like base dolls, and then like she does like clothes and all this stuff that you can do separately. So those might be good free patterns for like kind of a simple doll. And then also that whip that I was working on that I showed you guys of the unicorn like body. That pattern is actually like you can turn it into anything kind of pattern. So she has in the pattern the base that you make for like all of it, but then you can turn it into a doll, you can turn it into a unicorn, you can turn it into a bunny. That would also be a good just base pattern for working up a body and then kind of doing your own thing off of it. I would definitely recommend that one. That one is by Katydids on Etsy. It's spelled Kaytedids, and I will put this in the description box below also. It's the 3-in-1 magical mod pattern. So hopefully that helps. If you have any more questions, like you need help with that type of thing, feel free to email me and I'll do my best to help you out with it. Number 9, what is my favorite land animal? This one's like a little bit of a difficult one because I actually like love a lot of animals, but as far as like, not your traditional like cats and dogs and things like that, I really love elephants. I think that they're very beautiful, and they feel like ancient and wise and stuff. Like they just have like a really cool air to them, and then also they're really cute, especially when they have like their babies. I just think they're really, really cool animals. So I love elephants. As far as like a bird, I love owls. I think owls are really cool. And then my favorite ocean animal, this one was another hard one because there's a lot of like really cool looking animals in the water. Or I guess it wouldn't be animals, but whatever they are, they fall under a lot of classifications depending on what you're talking about. But I think I would have to go with jellyfish. I really love jellyfish, especially like, not when they're washed up on the beach looking like a plastic bag, but when they're like, in their magnificent glory and under a black light, or like those deep sea pictures where they have like the really pretty, like colorful, like purple ones and pink ones and stuff. There's some really cool looking jellyfish. So I think jellyfish are just so cool looking. But there's also a lot of cool fish in general, like any of the really pretty fish. I'm going to love that. But I would say jellyfish. Okay. So then I have a couple that I linked together that were questions that people have. So I'm going to go with this one first. Have you ever traveled outside of the USA? And I'm going to insert some pictures after I talk a little bit about this. I have written notes, like insert some pictures here. Yes, I have. I went on youth exchange, like I said. I went to Finland and I got to stay there for 5 months and I had a really, really good time. I loved Finland. Learned a lot about being independent. The difference between like American culture and European culture, and I don't know if it's all European culture or specifically Finland, is just so different. Like I would go on my own and do a lot of things. I would ride the bus anywhere I needed to go. The public transit system, I wish we had public transit like that here. Like where I lived, the bus ran like every 5 minutes. Maybe not quite every 5 minutes, but pretty dang close to it. And you could get a bus pass. I had like a little card that I would just scan or whatever. It had like a chip in it or something, I think. So any of like the city buses I could take and just swipe my card. And it had like a reflective backside to it. That was like something that was also very different being in Finland. This is like super random, but like wearing reflectors or having like reflective like backsides of your bus card and things like that are really common, because when you're out in the dark, which like everybody goes out in the dark to like go to the bus stations or to the bus stops and things like that, you got to be able to see. People have to be able to see you. So I had like a reflector I wore on my jacket or my coat. And then also, you know, if you're at the bus stop and it's dark out, you can hold up your bus card and they can see the reflective side and they know that they need to stop there. Don't know why I went into that very random piece of information. But I will insert some pictures. I have like a million pictures from my time in Finland, like literally like a million. So I'm just going to like very, very randomly cherry pick a couple and insert those. I've also been to Sweden. When I was in Finland, we took a ferry to Sweden, just like a little short trip. I was in Stockholm, and basically we went there, we slept on the ferry, then we spent the whole day, we got there at like 7 a.m. We spent the whole day there, and trying to remember. Wow, you guys, I think I'm getting old. I don't remember if we stayed the night. I think we stayed the night there. Wow, I like feel like that's crazy to me that I can't remember that. And then we took the ferry back home. Pretty sure we stayed the night there. Taking the ferry back home was so cool because they had like a buffet and they had like 3 different ways of cooked salmon on that buffet. That's the thing I remember because I love salmon. I want to go on that cruise, or not cruise. I want to go on that ferry again. But yeah, so I've been to Sweden, and then I've also been to Canada because I lived in Michigan, and where I lived in Michigan is actually a port city. But I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I don't know about the port part of it because I like never boated or anything like that. But there's a bridge to Canada. It's the Blue Water Bridge. Some of you may know it. And the Blue Water Bridge was right there. So we would go to Canada just like for silly things. Like we'd go over there to eat sometimes and go like shopping or whatever. And then that I followed up with another question which was if you could visit anywhere in the world, where would you go? So I have 2 for this one. One, I would really love to visit Finland again. The issue is that it is extremely expensive to go to Finland from the United States. So I don't know when that's ever going to happen, but I would love to go back to Finland. I would love to bring Caleb with me and show him Finland. And the other place that I would love to go, hands down, is Japan. I absolutely love Japan. I love a lot of Japanese entertainment type stuff. So I love like a lot of animes. I love a lot of video games, just like a lot of stuff that is Japanese. And they have a lot of really cool shops and cafes and stuff over there like we would never have here. Like you can go to themed cafes for like basically any interest. Like they have like Pokemon themed cafes and Hello Kitty themed cafes and like just all of this stuff. They have a lot of really cool Pokemon stuff. That would be like I would literally love it so much. They have the Pokemon centers there, where they sell like all the Pokemon plushies and merch, and like I said, the cafes. And then they also have, my hubby is into Gundam, and they have a lot of Gundam stuff there too, like a lot of themed Gundam things, like big full-sized mobile suits, which are like the big like robot thingies that they get inside of, like robotic type things. So both of us would absolutely love to go there. Also, I just think it's a beautiful country. I would love to go during like cherry blossom season. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons I would love to go to Japan. So that was question 10 and question 12. I just put like a little thingy between them so that I would do them together kind of, because they relate to each other. So then here's the next ones that are linked together. So number 11, the story of how you got your fur babies. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit long, but I'm going to try to like kind of summarize it because, you know, I have quite a few fur babies. So I'll start with Mario since he's the oldest. I'll go in like order of age. Mario was my mom had a male and a female Chihuahua, and she would like breed them and sell the puppies. And she did that a couple of times, but they were like also our pets, so it wasn't like a puppy mill situation. It was like my mom has a male and a female Chihuahua, and you know, they had puppies. But they also did not have very many puppies. When they would have puppies, they would have like 2, maybe 3 at a time, because Chihuahuas are very small. And so she always would rehome them, even though we wanted to keep them so bad. She would sell them. And I was 17 when Mario was born, and he was born at like the end of the summer. And I actually have pictures of him when he was a baby in a like laundry basket, because we were running a garage sale. That's one of the things that we would do in the summer times, is like me and my siblings would be like tasked with like running a garage sale for a good chunk of time. And so we would just sit in the garage basically, like day in and day out doing that. And so when the puppies were like big enough to like, you know, be taken out, we took them out in a basket and sat with them, had them sit with us in the garage for a little bit. But yeah, so that was at like the end of summer. Well, I turned 18 in November, and when I turned 18, I immediately moved to Texas to be with Caleb. So what happened was she put them in the newspaper to rehome them, and she rehomed one of them, and then she didn't put them back in the newspaper, like Mario back in the newspaper again for a while. Like she just like got busy and forgot about it. And then somebody was supposed to come get Mario, and I actually have like a Facebook status that I see in my memories sometimes, where I was like really upset because somebody was coming to get Little Puppy, which is what we called Mario, and they never showed up. And then she just like didn't put him in the paper again. And at this point, by the time I was about to be moving, he was like 4 months old or 5 months old. How old would he have been? August, September, October, November. I think he was about 4 months old. And my mom was like, do you want to take him with you so that you have company? Because I was moving in the middle of my senior year. Yes, very, very responsible of me. I was moving in the middle of my senior year. And so I was going to be doing school and stuff, and Caleb was going to be working. And she was like, you know, like, you're going to be lonely at the house, at the apartment. And I was like, yes, I would love to take him. So I actually took him, and he moved with me. He has been my little companion my entire adult life. He's literally been with me from before I turned 18 a little bit, but like lived with me, moved with me, went everywhere I've gone since the day I turned 18. So he has been my little shadow and my little companion, and we are very, very like attached at the hip. He is very much like bonded, like my baby. And we ended up naming him Little Mario. We called him Little Puppy still for quite a while. He was Little Puppy. And then I was like, well, since we're keeping him, we need to like give him like a real name, not Little Puppy. And actually it's funny because part of the reason we chose Mario was because there's Little Mario. If you are familiar with the Mario universe, there's actually Little Mario, which is like his own like character. He's like the Little Mario. and like not just Mario, it's like little Mario. And so we were like, okay, well, what if we call him Mario? We call him Little Mario, so that the little from Little Puppy is still part of his name, so that he knows we're talking to him, and it would be like helpful to transition him into the new name. So it wasn't just like us suddenly calling him something else, because he knew himself as Little Puppy. And I still call him Little Puppy sometimes too. It's still like a nickname. But that was how Little Mario became his name. And then over time, we dropped the little off of it, and his name just became Mario for the most part. He still is Little Mario, and he still gets called Little Mario, but, just shortened to Mario. But that's how I got Mario. So that's why I have a little tiny, like, purebred Chihuahua. Because I would not typically seek out, like, a purebred puppy, but that was how I ended up with Mario, and I absolutely love him to bits. He is the sweetest Chihuahua you will ever meet. And that was back at the end of 2011, and it is 2023, so that tells you how long he and I have been together. And then Tataru would be the next one. We actually got her in the parking lot at Target. So we were at Target, and I don't remember what we were there for. We were running in for some stuff. We love to go to Target in general. Target is just like one of our happy places. So we like to go there and meander around and, like, not necessarily go in there with a purpose, but we find what we're there for while we're there. You guys have stores like that, I'm sure. Target is just one of those places. The vibe is just so, like, positive. Excuse me. The vibe is so positive, and, like, they have, like, a lot of stuff that I like, and yeah. So we were at not Hobby Lobby. We were at Target, and we checked out. And as we were leaving, this kid runs up to us, and he's like, "Do you guys want a puppy?" And we're like, "What?" And we're just kind of like, "Okay." And he's like, "Do you want a puppy? Like, come over here." And I was like, okay. So we went over there, and it was his dad. They were actually packing up to leave. It was dark outside. It was like nighttime. They were packing up to leave, but they had in the hatch of their, like, van or something, I think it was a van, they had puppies that they were trying to rehome. And they didn't know what breed they were. They said that the mom was a Shih Tzu, but they didn't know what the dad was. So I guess someone snuck into their fence or something. And they had these puppies, and there was, like, she's a blonde one. There were, like, a bunch of blonde, well, like, several blonde ones. Well, no, there were quite a few blonde ones. And then also some, like, brown ones, and some had, like, longer, curlier hair, and some had shorter hair. They were kind of, like kind of mixed up looking. And she was, like, one of the biggest ones. And normally I gravitate towards, like, the smaller puppies or smaller animals. I gravitate towards the runt. But my hubby, we were, like, holding them and, like, petting them and stuff. And, like, we weren't at first planning on getting one. But they were so cute and so sweet. We're like, maybe Mario needs a friend. Because at the time we had only had Mario. We had only had Mario for years. This was in 2015. So he was, like, 4 years old at the time. And he ended up picking Tataru. And he was the one who actually decided to get her. Which is, like, not how I would normally expect that to go. Normally I would definitely be the one. And I would probably have picked, like, the smallest one, or, like, the runt type one out of the litter. But I have never been more thankful that he was the one that picked the puppy in my entire life, because she is the sweetest dog you will ever meet. She is so sweet, you guys. She wants nothing more than to do exactly what you want her to do. Like, she was very easy to train and to, like, teach tricks. Mario knows sit, which he does when he wants to do it. Basically, there has to be she knows sit. I don't know what that pop-up was. 1 minute. Weird. It was like maximum file size reach. This is, like, basically gonna start a new video. So now I have, like, a 9-second clip that I'm gonna have to like, put together, which is fine. I'm gonna have lots of stuff to edit into this. But yeah, I don't know why I did that. So oh yeah, the tricks that she knows. She knows sit, lay down, rollover. Her rollover is hilarious. She tries so hard. She mostly just like flails around, but we know that it's an attempt at rolling over. It's very cute. High paw, shake. She kind of knows stay. They both know get in, which is to get into their kennel, or their cage, or whatever you want to call it. I usually call it a cage, so I'm not really sure why I called it a kennel right now, but whatever. They both know that one, and they're both very good about it. Like, if I told them to right now, they would both get up and run in there and get in there. And that one was actually, it's so funny because she is so trainable and so sweet and like wants to listen. She actually trained him to know get in because we were teaching her get in when she was a puppy, and he wanted to be with her because he is absolutely like in love with her. And so he would get in too. And now he also just knows get in. Like, over the course of time, he also just knows get in. So, they like to be together all the time. But she knows a lot of like little tricks and stuff, and she's just a very good dog. She's a very, very sweet dog. I love her so much. And then you guys kind of know the story about Lincoln now because I was talking about it in my Whip Wednesday video, and I will link that down in the description box in case you missed it. But I was talking about my late kitty Pippin and how I took him in at a day old and like hand raised him and all that, and that also led into why we ended up getting Lincoln. So I don't really need to go into that. I literally just went into that. But if you are interested and you missed that video, I'll link it in the description box below. It's a really like sweet story, and Link fits in absolutely perfect. Link was literally like a godsend because without having Pippin, there was just this big hole in my life. He had become so important and such a daily focus of my life constantly that when he passed away, I like, besides being just absolutely shattered because I loved him and I was upset, I also just like, everywhere I looked, I just saw where he should be. And I didn't have a cat anymore at all. And I had like really fallen in love with having him. And so Lincoln came in, and I was really afraid of bringing him in because I was like, what if he's aloof and standoffish and a typical cat? Which I expected him to be because he was from the same litter as Pippin, which means when we took him in, he was 6 months old. And he had been living outside in a barn, and he had not been interacting with people and stuff. And so I really expected a very antisocial cat. And that is not what we got. We got, like, in a lot of ways, very similar to Pippin. Just an amazing cat. You guys know how much I love Lincoln. And then Yuri, which leads into the next question, which was number 15. And like I said, I've got these linked together. It was, what made you get your new fur baby, and are her and Lincoln getting along? So the reason we got Yuri was, we had been wanting to get a second cat for quite a while, to keep Lincoln company. And, we talked about it a lot. We were like, I want a kitten. But we like never were taking like the plunge to do it. And part of the reason was that, part of my like Pippin's legacy thing that I mentioned in my other video, was that I like wanted my cats that I take in to be cats that need me. And so I didn't want to like go out in search of a cat necessarily, more as like me stumble into a situation where a cat needs me kind of thing. And so, and that's not like, you know, dead set, like I can't go to a rescue or whatever, but that was just kind of part of like the reason that I hadn't really taken the plunge. But we had talked about it quite a bit, like for months we had been like kind of throwing around the idea. Well, my, sister-in-law had Yuri, and what happened was they found her outside when she was like a little kitten, and they've had her this whole time. But then there's been a lot of issues going on with their housing situation and just drama, and basically she messaged us saying like, hey, I'm gonna have to rehome Yuri, do you guys want her? And we were like kind of we weren't sure at first because I was like, we were afraid of messing up the, what do you call it? The, 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 balance, I guess, of the household, like how everybody just gets along perfectly, everything is just like in harmony and everything. And you know, whenever you bring in a new family member, they're going to have their own personalities and temperaments, and everybody's going to have their own different personalities and temperaments, and they might not get along. And, you know, if you bring in a cat that doesn't get along with your other cat or your dogs, it, like, I didn't want to make a selfish decision, like, that I wanted a kitten or a cat, and then it hurt the family. I didn't want it to hurt Lincoln. I didn't want it to hurt the dogs. So I was kind of like, I don't know. Yes, but I don't know. So, and then she was like, well, can you guys watch her for a few days because we're having like an inspection, and we need her to like not be in the house. So we were like, yeah, we can definitely watch her for a few days. And I was like, you know what? While we're watching her, let's like view this as kind of a trial run to see how she does. And I was like, you know, I know that this isn't going to be a very good example because when you bring a new cat into like a cat into a new house, they're going to be nervous. It doesn't matter. They could be like the most outgoing social cat ever. They're still going to be nervous. You're bringing them into a new place, surrounded by different people, different smells, different animals. Like it's just different. I was like, so I'm going to like, you know, give her grace in the fact that it's not going to be like her true temperament, but I also just wanted to see if they absolutely did not get along, like that I could tell that in, you know, like 3 days of her being here. So when we went to watch her, it just started out really good, like right from the get-go. We put her carrier on the floor and like let everybody meet her through the carrier so that she was, you know, in her own little safe space, and not like directly with them, but like everybody could kind of sniff each other and stuff. She was super chill. She was just loafing in there, you know, just laying in there like a little loaf. She didn't hiss. It just like it went really well. So after a few hours, we opened the carrier, didn't make her get out or anything, let her choose when she was ready to get out. Tataru actually was like obsessed. Like she wanted her to come out so bad. She was whining, she was excited. She was like putting her face in the carrier, which I was trying to not let her do because I wanted her to have Yuri to have her own space. But Yuri didn't mind like at all. She literally would still just lay there loafing. She didn't like back up into the corner. She didn't hiss. She didn't even paw at her face, which I would have totally understood if she did, because that was her space, you know, and that she was intruding into it. But she didn't. So I was really impressed right from the get-go as far as that went. And then over the course of the next few days, she hid behind our couch a lot, because it was a new place, which I expected. But she also did, she was really friendly. Like she never hissed, which really surprised me. Lincoln hissed at her a couple of times and then he never hissed again, which I was also really impressed with. They got along, everybody got along really well, and like in a tentative fashion, of course. But she loved to be pet and picked up and like cuddled on even in that time period. So we decided, you know what, I think this will work actually. And really quickly, I would say it was probably only 2 days of her, you know, kind of hiding behind the couch and stuff. She really came out of her shell, and like after like less than a week probably, she busted out of her shell. She does not yet go behind the couch at all anymore. She doesn't hide anywhere anymore. Very friendly, very outgoing, social cat. Her and Lincoln love each other, as you guys have seen with like him grooming her and she grooms him. They play together. It's kind of brought out the kitten in him, because he is a, is he 4? Trying to remember. He's either 3 or 4. I think he turns 4 in July. So he's not like a baby anymore. And since getting fixed a couple of years ago, he over time has gotten like a little bit more like lazy and like, you know, just like not running around being crazy, which is totally fine. But it was nice. It's nice to see like his playful kitten side come out too. Him and Rue actually play. They've always played, but just very rarely, like when both of them happen to get the zoomies at the same time. But the cats, they're just like playing all the time. They're very cute. And like I was saying in that other video, Tataru was coming along with Yuri. Actually, she was just trying to play with her earlier today. And Mario is doing his typical, he does not give a crap about anybody else other than Rue and me. So yeah, so that answers that question pretty well, I believe. And moving on to number 13, would you share a wedding photo of you and Caleb? Yes, I will. So I will insert a couple of wedding photos here. And there you go. Those are a couple of wedding photos. Number 14, what are the top 3 gross foods? Okay, so number 1 on my list of gross foods is anything with bones in it. I am not like a vegetarian or anything like that, but I don't eat meat with bones in it at all. So it needs to be like chicken breast or things that have the bones removed from it. I just can't stand the texture. The grizzle, like just everything about meat with bones in it really absolutely repulses me. So I don't eat meat with bones in it. I don't like blue cheese. I love literally every other kind of cheese. I'm like the cheesiest person you'll ever meet. Love cheese, every cheese, all cheese, not blue cheese. Blue cheese is disgusting. Which I am allergic to mold, so sometimes I wonder if maybe that's part of the reason, because like blue cheese is like mold cheese. I don't know. But blue cheese is gross. I really don't like it. Apart from that, I guess I would just say I used to not like peas at all, but now as an adult, I've kind of grown into like I am okay with peas in certain circumstances. Like if they're in stuff, I don't mind at all. Like if they're in like a pot pie or a soup or like they're in rice or things like that, I don't mind them. I'm not gonna sit there and eat like spoonfuls of them. There's something about peas that I just don't like. But other than that, I actually like am not. I wouldn't consider myself that picky of an eater. I really like vegetables, so like I'm not one of those people that doesn't like Brussels sprouts or broccoli or things like that, like spinach. I literally love those things. And so I don't really consider myself that picky of an eater. The pickiest thing is definitely the meat with no bones in my meat. How did Caleb and I meet? Okay, so we met back in 2007. I was in 7th grade and he was in 9th grade, I think. Oh, there's this dog barking outside and Taru hears it. He was in 9th grade, I believe, and we met on Taru. No, ma'am. Come here. We met on a geeky website online. Let me give her a moment. Okay, I'm back. So we met on a geeky website that we were both on for writing. It was a website where you could post poetry and you could do it's called role playing, but I don't like to say that because people get the wrong idea of what it was. But geeky people know that role playing is more than just bedroom stuff, which non-geeky people who aren't into like role play stuff, they don't know that there's more to it than that. But we would be characters in stories. So like I would be this character, he would be this character, there would be other people who would be other characters, and basically we would kind of all write a book together, where I would post as this character, they would post as this character, he would post as this character, and every person would control their character. So you say like what words you would say what actions you would do, things like that. And there was a whole bunch of them, like it was a website that was just full of those, and you would just read like the descriptions and stuff and see what kind of characters were needed, or if it was like open to like you making up your character entirely and things like that, and then you would join in. We met on a website like that. We were writing together and we ended up messaging, because when you're writing a story together, like if you're going to be making decisions that involve another person's character, you have to like get permission with them, because you can't just control other people's characters. And so, of course, naturally, when you're writing, you're not just going to be doing your own thing the whole time. Like you're going to interact with other people and do things where like you kind of, you know, you're kind of controlling their character a little bit, or at least influencing what they're doing. So we ended up talking and we just kind of snowballed from that. We became friends. We really liked each other. We would talk a lot, and it didn't take very long for us to be like, I really like you. And we would talk online, and I used to go over and help babysit at this lady's house, and she had unlimited long distance calling, and he had a cell phone that had unlimited long distance calling. I didn't have a cell phone. So when I would go over there in the evenings, like when everything calmed down, I would spend like hours on the phone talking to him. So I would talk to him like all the time, like probably 5 nights a week, for hours. And then eventually, and I would also still talk to him online. So I've always been like a very online person. I love the internet. I love my computer. Like, and then eventually when I got my cell phone several years later, it made it a lot easier to communicate because I could text and talk on the phone on my phone. And so that's how we met. We had a long distance relationship for a long time. Actually, we were still long distance when I went to Finland for 5 months. But, you know, other than the fact that I was really busy and there was a time difference, it didn't change a whole lot. I was able to message him, but I wasn't able to call him. And then when I got back from Finland, he actually came and visited me that summer. So that was really awesome. Yeah. And then when I turned 18, I moved to Texas. And we have been together ever since. So we have been living together for 11 years. A little over 11 years. Isn't that crazy? That's so crazy to me. Okay, anyway, what's the next question? What is your favorite film? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't like picking favorites for anything. I love a lot of stuff, and picking favorites always just feels like so much pressure, because like what if I pick this one and then there's like, oh no, I should have picked that one, and like I don't want to like look like I don't love this one as much as I love this one. So I'm like not good at picking favorite things. But this one's kind of fresh in my head because of Shannon doing her Broadway Bears thing and having the Phantom of the Opera be her first one. And now that I've mentioned her, I will link her in the description box below. Shannon is the Spoonie Stitcher. But since she's been doing that, it has it fresh in my mind. But I love the Phantom of the Opera movie. Literally one of my most favorite movies of all time. Literally like got me hooked on Phantom of the Opera, got me like super into the soundtrack, got me in love with Gerard Butler. I love that movie. So I'm just gonna like not put too much thought into it and like stress myself out over it. I'm just gonna say that one. I'm just gonna say the Phantom of the Opera. And the last question, we have made it through all 18 questions, and aren't we glad that I made this into the first part of this series, because I don't know how many more questions I'll get, but 18 definitely made a long video. Do you take allergy meds to be around the cats? Does it help, or do you just live with the symptoms? So I mentioned in my video where I was talking about the cats, in my Whip Wednesday video that I'm linking in the description box, I talked about how I didn't plan on having cats because I am allergic to cats, and I get like itchy eyes, watery nose, like all the like irritation symptoms. So I take Claritin. I actually take Loratadine, I think is how you say it, Loratadine. It's just the off-brand version of Claritin. I take that every day. I've taken that every day for years, and that definitely helps. And then sometimes you do just have flare-ups. Like sometimes I will just suddenly be like my eyes are itchy and drainy and my nose is runny and I'm sneezing a lot and stuff. But the Claritin definitely helps. Definitely helps a lot. And if you get loratadine, it's actually super affordable too. You can get it prescription or you can get it over the counter, and it's the same thing. But it's super affordable too. So definitely recommend that if you have a cat allergy and you want to have a cat. Hi, Link. Were you coming to say hi? That was the last question, so Link just decided to come stretching his way in as the grand finale, I guess. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. I'm petting him over here. You guys can see his tail. You guys know something interesting about Link? You can see this tail a little bit. He has a bent tip to his tail. Like, his tail literally goes like completely bent at the tip. There's probably like, I don't know, I would say a good couple centimeters of tip that's bent at the end of his tail. And it's always been like that ever since we got him when he was like a kitten at 6 months old. He's always had that little bent tip, but the vet wasn't worried about it or anything. So that's just a little quirk that Lincoln has. And you would never know, like looking at it, it's just when you pet him, you feel it. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Is this like something that we need to do like once in a while, just do a little Q&A? I hadn't done one before, and I think this was pretty fun. So if I get enough questions to do a second one, then I'll do a second one. If I get any more questions, I'll probably still do them at some point. Like maybe I'll just mix them into videos or something, but if I get enough to do like another full-on Q&A video, then I'll do another full-on Q&A video. Feel free, if you have any questions, you can pop them in the comments on this video or on the original video where I brought it up. Either way, doesn't matter to me. I actually think a couple of these questions came off of other videos where like people were like, oh, that makes me think of this question in my video comment or in the comment section. So I'm totally open to that. I read all of my comments. So if you guys put them somewhere else, I'll find them and I'll just write them down like I did as I found questions on this one. So anyway, guys, I will see you later. Thank you so much for sticking with me for this whole video. I know it's a long one. You guys are the real MVPs, as they would say. I will see you guys later, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!